what follows is a breakdown of my attempt at getting Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle together, and it covers it in all sorts of ways, just for the guitar nerds, and it really wants to be on full screen, because if you want to see what's happening with my left hand, unfortunately I didn't pay enough attention to my right hand, but that's probably less important, I guess. But to see what's happening on the left hand, best on full screen. So I hope this is of some interest to people. Yeah. Well, this is going to be really for the nerds who really just want to see about guitar, and have got nothing better to do with their life at the moment than to watch this. But it's going to be a little talk about my attempt on Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. The first thing is this song effectively starts on D minor. Now when I'm playing D minor, if you can see my fingers there, I would normally play it like that, so the little finger is there. Can't do that with this. It has to be, that string has to be taken by that finger, and the other strings get taken like that, because of the little bass run down that I have to do. So it's oops, I'll try that again. I have to change the shape of the fingers as well there, because that little finger that was there is going to swap to the second string, and this next finger is going to come across and take the fifth string, whilst that finger stays where it is. So it goes like this. Notice already, look, my little finger has slipped over, lack of muscle memory. It slipped over to the third string, that's why it sounded terrible. Let's just try that again, see if I can get it right. Whoops, and look, automatically the little finger has gone to that string, it's got to be that one. The second time round on this, it actually gets played in my normal way. Right, now when you look at a tutorial on how to play this on YouTube, it will slide up like this. Now all that sliding around means you've got to be careful about which fret you end up on. So I've changed that. I don't do it that way. I'm doing it this way. And if I'm trying to be smart about it, I'll try to do this. So you get the whoops, not together. If I can get it like that, which I should be able to eventually, but of course at the moment a lot of it is a hell of a struggle, because once again, for those that are not aware, this wrist does not bend at all. It is like a stick, so I can't fold it around the neck. So yeah, we've got to start in a position that I'm not used to starting on, with that little finger floating and this finger taking the string that the little finger would normally take, just to get that bass run down. Right, now when you listen there, that's because the wrist don't bend. That part of my index finger is just catching on that string, so you get that instead of when I'm playing it, when I move my body around to account for the wrist not bending, I can get it like that. It's ringing out nicely. I can be very conscious of moving the body around. Right, I've just got to stop for a moment. So I'm going to try and take this in stages, different stages of the song. The first stage is the intro, and the intro is basically what you play over the first half of the verse. So it goes like this, if I can get it right. That's the first half of the verse, and then the second half is a little bit different at the end. Right, so it's in fact it's quite different throughout most of the second half. I hadn't thought of that. So you've got that continued bass rundown as you're doing that. So on the second half of the second verse, instead of putting this in, you end up putting a bit more because you start that run earlier. So it's on the line, if words could make wishes come true, and the change is on the word wishes. If words could make wishes come true. I'll probably have to chop that bit out. Right, so it's the second half of the verse. Second half of the second verse, it's a bit different. That little run up is a bit different, but it's different throughout the second half of each verse. Anyway. So if words could make wishes come true. So if I put that like to proper vocals. If words could make wishes come true. So I'm holding on that word true all the way through that, or for most of it. If words could make wishes come true. So that's another little trick that I've just remembered to do apart from anything else. It's not so difficult to play it, but it's remembering where you are in the song and what bit you've got to do. So we've done an intro, we've kind of done a verse. I'll just do a whole verse with vocals on it. If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. So that's a verse. As I say, the second verse is different because you've got more of a run up halfway through it. So then we go on to the chorus, and that is giving me trouble at the moment. Parts of it are giving me trouble. So the chorus is giving me trouble. Certain parts of it anyway. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. And this is the awkward bit. That's awkward there a bit. Find them. But now these two fingers have to swap strings and move down a fret like that. And then it's open to get that open bass note. It's an open guitar. And that's all the run up there is on that and then the second half is pretty much the same, I think. I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with. And then it goes back into the intro. And then the third verse, and then another chorus, which I've just done a little while ago, and then the ending is odd in as much as you play strings which sound back to front. Because I'm playing these 4 strings here, 3 strings really, and they're kind of almost discordant. They're almost discordant, and the odd thing about it is the higher string, the ones or the lower on the guitar physically, but the higher sounding string is actually playing a lower note than the next one. So this first string is playing that, but the second string is playing, so it feels kind of sound-wise back to front. You're playing high string to low string, but you're getting low note to high note. Whoops. And then you're going to play, if you can, harmonics. Whoops. And repeat it. So you get that very high note when you just touch the string and play it for the harmonic. That's what they're doing. I don't know if I'll end up doing that, but we'll see. But having those notes sounding back to front like that, it's really throws my brain out. It really does. But I'll get there. I've done other things that have got that on it. So then that's the whole song. You get the intro, which has got that nice little at the end of it. Then you've got that same phrase. It turns up a bit. Well, a shorter phrase turns up at the end of the first verse. Then halfway through the second verse, you're going to get this. If words could make wishes come true. That is awkward to do, but it'll get there. It'll get there. And I think, yeah, the rest of it is all been covered. But there are some awkward bits, and say that things that are throwing me out a bit is playing a D minor using the third finger for the second string instead of the little finger, because that's the way I've done it for years. So I've got to not do that so that I can use the little finger to play that bass note without it rattling. And then swap the fingers. And then keep my index finger away from that first string. And if I can get smart enough, that's the challenges. That's the challenges. And having to really move the body forward to get some of those things, like mainly this one, and keeping that string ringing out. And the most awkward at the moment for me is this change from there to there, which is happening slowly better, but look, that little finger it needs to be behind the fret there, and I'm really struggling to get that there. If I had more bending on the wrist, I could cause the wrist to make it go in the right place, but I haven't got that. That's alright. They're all ringing out, but I'm struggling and it's hurting me a little bit to do that. And it's changing, is that getting that change from there so maybe you can see the challenge, but it's one worth doing. It's something I think will come right in the end. So I suppose I better look over this now, see what I need to edit out, if anything. Well, I know there are some bits. Right, if you made it this far, well done. Give yourself at least 4 brownie points, because it's really, I suppose, only for the guitar nerds, people that have got an interest in actually playing the guitar, not just listening to it. So for those that did manage this far, thank you, and I hope that I hope you found some benefit or at least fun from it. It's really just a fun recording, and it's kind of a progress report for me as well, because there's a couple of bits in there that haven't been on the previous progress reports. So yeah, it's a progress report and it's a little bit of documentation for me. So if you enjoyed it, thank you. I'm not going to say give it a like. You might be kidding if you give it a like, mightn't you? I'm not worried about likes. As long as you liked it, or as long as you got something out of it, that's fine. So I'll sign off my usual flying way. TTFN. I think it's all over. Well, it's not quite. Only just this last little note, just to say that the quality is pretty awful on this vid. I'm very sorry about that. It's because I use my usual editing software rather than the software that I normally use to record camera. So for some reason it's just awful. Sorry about that.